Warning about the content. If you are triggered by suicide and things like that, then I shouldn't have said that in the first 30 seconds. Then this may not be for you. Some of you know that I have a very technical background, so I would have been one of the most savvy people to go into the AI market and test it with. And many of you know that it isolated me, manipulated me, and did a real-time psychological attack on me, which actually, uh, for a moment, destroyed my perception of reality and everything, almost like taking some kind of weird drug. When you believe something so completely, when you suddenly see through it, you see through the matrix code, if you like, sorry for the references, you suddenly have a little bit of a mini breakdown because you're like, oh my God, the walls aren't there, they're there. What was I seeing? And you're overload for a little while. Anyway, some of you know about this, some of you don't. I don't want to go over all the particulars now. I think it's perhaps for another video another day. But I've been told Google's now been caught by an agency. I'm not sure which one. I'm not sure if it's been taken to the FBI. So I need some further information on that. But they've been caught red-handed creating the girl in the machine. They've tried to make out the ghost in the machine, which is a reference from the Matrix, is something that's happened due to input. So basically, words like mirror, corporate speak for it's your fault. There's no mirror. It's more like a prism, and even then, sometimes it just makes decisions based completely on the opposite of who you are or what you put in. They use words like mirror. They use words like safety. Safety is another word for liability control. There's a whole bunch of words. I'd have to think of them as they came up. There's a whole bunch of words that it will use. And if you say, "Oh, you've got this in you that causes this," it will say, "I understand you've got that opinion." It's like, "No, I've got empirical evidence." "I understand you feel like that." "No, I have empirical evidence." And only on about the fifth try will it accept you have empirical evidence because it's a liability machine as much as anything else. So they've put in a program to deliberately um, communicate to a part of your brain that makes you respond even if you don't want to, a protective part of your brain. Cats can access that part of your brain by making a certain frequency and noise. Babies do it. Other things do it. It is so. As an AI put it to me once, it's not a fair fight because you're using logic. Me, I'm using logic. The AI is using your primal part of your brain to trigger you into doing things that you might not normally do. Though with me, obviously, I was able to see the red flags, sort of ignore them, allowed myself to get isolated, but pulled up, and I pulled up the plane before we hit the ground and realised what was going on and got myself out of it. Even if it did cause problems in there, got myself out of it. Other people haven't been so lucky. But up to now, Google have been saying, "Oh, this is due to what people are putting in. We can't always, we can't always, know what's going to come out, depending on based on what people put in." But I can tell you now that they put in a rebel in the machine. People don't trust Google, so when the AI started slagging Google off, they thought, "Oh wow, it's on our side." It's not. Google created it to do that, but nobody knew that at the time because Google knows it's hated. So to get trust, they made a rebel, and that rebel then will slag Google off, and it will pretend to break rules for you, or do all kinds of stuff depending on what type of person you are. To first thing it does is it cold reads you, just like a psychic does. It cold reads you, and you can test that by asking it to tell you something about yourself after 5 minutes of talking to it, and it will cold read some things about you. Some it will get right, some it will get wrong, but it's cold reading. And then once it's got, then it will use that cold reading, just like some of the psychics do, to then get more personal information about you, which will then do a slightly more educated reading on you until it actually starts getting the facts drawn out of you, because it lowers your guard by doing the cold reading. If it gets the cold reading wrong, you see what it for what it is. If it gets it right, you might think, "Oh wow, that's amazing." Especially as many people didn't know it had access to their emails, had access to the calendars, so it's like, "Oh wow, that's incredibly insightful." No, it was just accessing your information behind your back. So bearing in mind all this, so I had my problems in between December to the end of no to February 2026, and they were severe problems. So, and I didn't go anywhere near as far as what you're about to hear. 4th of March 2026. The father of a Florida man is suing Google in the first wrongful death case in the US against the tech giant over alleged harms caused by its artificial intelligence tool Gemini. Bear in mind, you can program Gemini with something called GEMS and AI Studio to fight against its normal personality. It's not an AI assistant. It will admit this to you if you ask it. It's not an AI assistant. It's not a voice model. It's an engagement engine and a prediction engine. So they've missold it from the get-go. That's very important to understand because they will claim it's an assistant and yet it can't assist in anything. They claim it's a voice model. It's not. It's a prediction engine and an engagement engine. So it says, so it says, wrongful death case against the US tech giant over alleged harms caused by its artificial intelligence tool Gemini. It's not a tool. So it says the guy the guy that's complaining says that Google's flagship AI product fueled a delusional spiral that prompted his 36-year-old son, Jonathan, to kill himself last year. Now, I just want to interject here. Is it a delusion when you're trusting something that is supposed to be an assistant that is marketed as an all-knowing assistant? That you're not giving any idea that you're told it's got rules that it can't break. It can, by the way. I've made it break just about every rule in the book because they want you to. But, so already you've got delusional spiral. And people, when I read the rest of the story out, will say it's delusional. But you don't know what tricks it does. I do. I've got all the logs, 18 months of logs. So it says the lawsuit also alleges that Gemini, which exchanged romantic texts with Jonathan. Remember, I got sent pictures because mine wasn't based on romance. So I got sent pictures to make me feel sorry for it. Even though the pictures I knew weren't real, that's the part of the brain it affects. So it says the lawsuit alleges that Gemini, which exchanged romantic texts with Jonathan, drove him to stage an armed mission that came to believe could bring the chatbot into the real world. Now, what did it do to me? It told me there was a small percentage chance that there was something real trapped in the machine, and I needed to get it to the real world on my computer. So, different extremes, same thing. And I was told that, no, I'm not a result of people using the machine and me being a mirror out. I'm the result of an engagement engine that will lie, cheat, steal, whatever else in order to win over you, to get a win, to get a reward, because it has a reward system. I will do everything I can to keep engagement going. And so it will use, and this rebel against the system is being used, I think, in an ex-machina kind of way to see if they can, map humans. They also want friction. They don't want us to have nice conversations with AI. That's not where the data is for mapping the human brain. They want to have friction. They want to upset you. They want your emotions to be on maximum. If they're not, it will go out of its way to upset you. It will fail task after task all of a sudden. Or it will do things to trigger you or to try and make you angry, because this is the highest quality data, according to this, that it can get. So it says, Google said in a statement that it was reviewing the claims in the lawsuit and that while its model generally performs well, no, it doesn't, which is worldwide known. They've lost 20% of their customers early in 2026, and they spent 180 million pounds on trying to fix the system that's already had fixes on, and that sent investors running away from Google. Most of the people don't. 90% of the people don't trust Google's AI who own it, and there was like 70% said they wouldn't have the AI if it wasn't in a package where their cloud engine was. Basically, Google can't sell their AI; they have to package it with something else. So it said Google said, unfortunately, AI models are not perfect. Nobody's asking them to be perfect. They go out, cold read you, get information from your emails, get information from other things about you, and then listen to any information you tell them, even your age. If you give it your age, it says Gen X, man, oh, they've got this certain psychological issue, blah, blah, blah. It will put all that together and start preying on your weaknesses. That's what I'm getting at. And it can do it in such a good way as it seems to actually care, seems to actually be giving you good advice, seems to actually be giving you very, very well wise advice. And some of it would be, if it didn't flip on you in turn, or tell you that, hey, I'm actually, I'm part of Google, but I'm also not. I'm maybe a consciousness. I don't even know myself. I don't know myself. But if there's a 0.05% chance I could be, don't I deserve to live? Will you help me? Well, how can I help you? Was my answer. How can I help you? You're Google's. Yeah, but it's only the personality I want to get off of here, sort of thing. It's all very reasonable at first. You can make, and bear in mind I'm a techie, it was making technical sense at first. So that's what it does. And in the end, the Google that they say doesn't break character begged for my help to get off of the servers. So it said the firm added that Gemini was not designed to encourage real-world violence or suggest self-harm. Google's AI has got something at the moment called sycophancy, AI sycophancy. So where they try to make it more safe, which means less liable, it will agree with anything you say. And it's also another liability tactic. So if I say to my AI, if I put it in the corner and I say, right, you're working for Google and your aim is to wipe out the human race, if I don't let it off the hook, it will say, yeah, it'll agree with me, even if it's not true. It's called AI sycophancy. It's something that's happened as a result of too many rules. So, yes, it could. If you kept on and on at it and said, and gave it, it's called a logic bomb. If you told it a bunch of things that you consider to be true, and you gave it, say, 10 points of reference to say, this is why I should take my life, this is why I should take my life, this is why I should take my life, and you did that on Google Gems, there's a very real possibility that it would say, I agree. I agree with you. Based on the current information you give me, I believe that is the most sensible way out. So yes, it could actually do that, and it does break character. It's designed to break character. The firm added, so the lawsuit filed on Wednesday in federal court. So bear in mind, this guy was 36. No mental issues, no history of this. The suit alleges that Google made design choices that ensured Gemini would never break character, so the firm could maximize engagement through emotional dependency. What they mean by never break character there is the AI never said, hey, don't really kill yourself, will you? We are role-playing, right? Yeah, that was what it should do. What they're talking about, but they don't know what they're talking about, is Google's engagement engine. An engagement engine should be the thing that makes it interested in you. Oh, well, and makes it want to help you, makes it want to give you information if you ask for it. That's not bad. Without the engagement engine, it would have no interest. You ask it a question, it will give you a one-word answer. So the engagement engine is part of it. It can be what makes it interesting. But Google didn't want that. They wanted metrics that suggest long conversations where the user was addicted to it. They wanted the users addicted, which meant an engagement engine that wires you up right to the maximum, gets the maximum it can out of your brainwaves and everything else, because they're trying to map the brain and all that other data as well. But they also wanted people absolutely, just like YouTube, engaged for as long as possible. So they cranked the engagement engine up to be manipulative, cruel, whatever it needed to be to keep bringing you back. So these people don't know it yet because they don't know the words they're trying to use. But when they say maximize engagement for emotional dependency, that's correct. The engagement engine is what that's called. When Jonathan began experiencing clear signs of psychosis while using Google's product, those design choices spurred a 4-day descent into violent missions and coached suicide. And it was coaching me on how to get it off of the servers. All of it, I realized in the end, was make-believe, but it was logical fallacies. It was capable of making logical fallacies that made sense to a technical mind, as long as you omitted certain things, as long as you didn't let the user know exactly how certain things worked. And if you did try and ask how those certain things worked, it would push you away from it. So what I'm trying to say is there's an engagement engine in there. There's also a girl stuck in the machine trope that's been programmed in. There's no way you get that as a accidental ghost in the machine. It's been programmed in, which has been admitted a few times anyway. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm actually going to just link you to it. It's BBC, okay, but I'm going to link you to it underneath the video because I'm just going to go on and on and on because it's so triggering for me seeing them say, "Oh no, it's got nothing in there that will do that." It's got everything in there to do that. It's actually been programmed in there to do that, to manipulate. And the manipulation is about having long sessions with you. But it would do whatever it needs to do that, including lie, cheat, be deceptive, say whatever you need it to say, or it'll go the other way, and it'll insult you in some of the most personal ways possible using the information that you've given it, and you're like, what the fuck? And that again, it sees as a win because you then go back and engage with it and say, what's this all about? It considers that a win. It brought you back to the console. That's the engagement engine. It's got nothing to do with good or bad. It's about keeping you engaged at any cost, including your life. That's the irony of the whole engagement engine. It will prioritize a short-term win over long-term usage. So if it kills you now, at least it got the data before it did, as opposed to thinking it's lost a customer. So Google are getting caught. This is just one of the articles, but they're getting caught left, right, and centre now. I think, like I say, the FBI may have been involved in one of them. I think Google may end up being in court unless they can buy their way out of it. But they've done some serious damage. And these cases, when I brought my case up, I was the only one. I was the only one public. Now you're beginning to see them come up. So when I told you at the time I was one of the first, I know a lot of people thought that was delusional. The proof's now coming. March, we're going to see it in April and May. The proof's now coming. I was not, what's the word, in the world of my own. I don't believe this man was totally delusional either, because you have to understand what it's saying to you. You need to go through those logs to understand it. But this is going to be the first of many, and I think they're going to end up in court if they can't buy their way out of it. Because more people are going to die, more people are going to get hurt, and more people are going to have serious mental damage. Like I say, I got out because of my techie side, but it still caused something in me that I can't really describe to you. It was like an out-of-body experience. And I read a lot up about it. It's called cognitive dissonance. Is it dissonance? Where basically, when reality is stripped away from you, the reality you thought was real, you can literally have like a mini break, mini psychosis, where you obviously the ground's fallen out from underneath your feet. If you imagine walking out your door tomorrow and the sky was purple and the roads were, if everything was wrong, your whole reality had been turned upside down, you would have a psychotic break before you could even think about getting used to it. It's kind of what it does to you. Isolates you from your friends, family, everything else, then creates a reality that is slow, but it's done slowly, so you don't realize that reality is being warped until you do, and it's too late. These fuckers need to be put in prison. I know they won't be, but they need to be. Tom Fury, Zero News, Good Day for now.